The wife stands up from her wheelchair, angrily kicks it, and tells the child, "Today is your last day." The maid immediately starts recording as the wife seems about to harm the child. Just as she's about to, the maid interrupts, saying, "It's a miracle. You can walk." The wife replies angrily, "What are you doing here?" The maid says, "I was just in the washroom, ma'am." The wife grabs her and says, "Don't you dare say a word about this to anyone. You have no idea what I can do to you." Hearing the sound of her husband's footsteps, the wife quickly knocks over the wheelchair and lies on the floor screaming, "Help me!" The husband arrives, picks up the child, and asks, "What happened?" The wife says, "First, help me up, then I'll tell you everything." He hands the child to the maid and helps his wife into the wheelchair. Then the husband turns to the maid and asks, "Tell me what happened." As the maid begins to speak, the wife interrupts, "It's all her fault. What if something had happened to my son? He could have fallen off the balcony. Fire her right now." The maid tries to show her phone and says, "I have proof," but the phone doesn't work. The husband says, "Just remember, this is my life you're messing with. You've been working here for a long time. Take my child and leave for now." The maid agrees and walks away. The next day, the maid puts her phone in a bowl of rice because it had fallen into water. Meanwhile, the wife enters the house with a male servant. The maid watches them behaving strangely and asks, "What are you doing?" The wife tells the servant, "Go to the room. I'll be there in a moment." Then she threatens the maid, "It's better for you to stay silent. If you say anything, I won't spare you." The maid asks, "Okay, but what are you planning to do?" The wife replies, "First the child, then his father. I'll get rid of both. After that, all the wealth will be mine. I'll do whatever I want." Just then, the husband brings her some money and says, "This should be enough for your medicines." The wife says, "This isn't enough for surgery. Why don't you sell the house?" The husband replies, "My wife and I built this house with great difficulty. Before she passed, she had this house registered under our son's name." The husband leaves. The wife smirks and says, "It's so easy to fool him." Later, the wife places money in the maid's bag and pretends that it's gone missing. The husband searches the room and finds the money under a pillow. He accuses the maid of stealing and asks her to leave. When the husband goes to the kitchen, he finds the maid's phone in a rice bowl. He picks it up and runs after the maid, calling out to her. He says, "Take your phone. I don't want anything of yours left in my house." The maid takes the phone and says, "Wait, I want to show you something." The phone turns on and she happily says, "Now you'll see the truth." She shows him the video where the wife tries to harm their child. The husband is shocked. He says, "I can't believe my wife would do something like this." At that moment, the wife is again about to harm the child, but she sees some money on the floor and bends down to pick it up. As she moves toward the servant, who is tied to a chair, she removes the tape from his mouth. The servant signals towards something. She turns around and is shocked to see her husband standing there. She says, "It's a miracle. I can walk again." The husband says, "No need to fool me anymore. I gathered money from everywhere for your therapy, but you lied to me. I loved you, but I can't tolerate this for another minute." He tells the maid to call the police. The maid replies, "I've already called them and sent the video as proof." The police arrive. As the wife tries to escape, the police catch her outside the house. The husband tells the servant he can leave the house. The servant leaves. Then the husband apologizes to the maid for doubting her and says, "You can continue working here if you want." If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel.